Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be looking at Bitcoin. Before we jump into the price action, just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description you'll find a link to Discord. Come check it out, it's free to join. Okay, so we're talking about a few things yesterday and we've had this nice strong powerful move up here. And we're talking about that possibility that we were looking for this wave 2 to come in. So, potentially this could actually be a good bullish sign, but we need more confirmation of this. Basically, this move is looking to potentially target out towards this 34,893 as a wave 3 within this structure, but it hasn't really confirmed yet. And I'm going to talk about this structure to the upside now, and what I'm being cautious of with that. If we do see this move actually play out, then basically what we want to see is nice strong progression here. Continuing to set higher lows here and getting good volume playing out here within the structures and actually looking to push up towards this zone, towards this 34,893, in which case we'd be looking for that potential of a fourth. Like I said, potentially this is possible, but we need to still be cautious within this zone. We've obviously just come up into a zone where we face rejection multiple times, and we need to just see whether we can actually continue to maintain structure. The beginning of this move is a little bit choppy, so there is some ways to count this as a five-wave move. What we have to be careful of, however, is within this structure. Like I said, this beginning bit's a bit choppy, so we can also argue, once we start to look at this in a different way, if we were looking at this as just a simple A, B, and a C to the upside, we've already come up past this 1-to-1 here. Actually, let me just change this and make it a regular, and we've actually come up to this 1.382 of this middle point here. So I'm just being cautious that this isn't something else like a corrective structure where this is basically an A, B, and C up into here, and we have a connecting wave here, and then this is just a completed move. It does have good signs for an impulse, but we're going to talk about what needs to happen for that to continue to be counted as such. So yeah, we just need to be a little bit cautious. Even if we do push up a little bit higher here towards this 28,805, we just need to be aware that this thing needs to hold support. Otherwise, basically, we could be looking at forming a connector wave here, and then either this is a completed move into here. Let me just find it there. We just get this as a completed move, connector wave here, push down again. So this is something that we need to just be aware of. We can look for potential rejection in this zone. Obviously, we have got some rejections off of this area already. Going to see how this holds and then basically go from there. So if we are talking bullish standpoint here, what we want to see, and this is the best interpretation I have at the moment, just given the current structures, is we'd have to argue that within here there would be a buildup of ones and twos. Otherwise, the overlap doesn't really make sense. The only other way you could argue it is that there's potentially a diagonal within here, but yeah, it wouldn't be great structure, to be fair, and it would be quite choppy. The only way it really makes sense at the moment to me is if this is a series of ones and twos in here. So what's the key thing that we need to see happen here? So potentially we could be completed this third wave here. Obviously, it is quite hard to do this in real time, and there could be another fifth to the upside here, where this becomes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, and then actually that would be our completed third wave. But for the moment, I'm just keeping an eye on this level. Obviously, this is a key zone. We've had a rejection, so I'm looking to see whether we get this fourth wave down. Potentially, this fourth wave could move as low as this 27,834. And then, as long as it remains above that, potentially what we could see play out here is a three-wave move to the downside, followed by another five-wave move up. If we do get that, basically what I'll be looking for is to see if we continue to maintain this zone, and look for these additional third, fourth, and fifth waves to the upside here, looking basically for these continuations towards this 29,392 to this 29,061 would be the secondary one here, and then basically this higher one would take us towards this zone of this 29,787 to this 24,412. Obviously, this is just based off of fib levels. If we do get further extension within these waves, it can change these targets and it can look to push these up. The idea is the same though. Within this, what I'd ideally like to see is basically seeing this form a five-wave structure up, looking for a three-wave move back down, finding support above some of these key zones here, and then looking to continue up. However, this is potentially a third wave if we are looking at that bullish count. So sometimes these might not come back down as deep as these retracement levels. So this 27,557 to this 26,59, sorry, 952, that is our current B wave retracement. If we do look to break down, I'll be looking to see if we find support in this range. If we start to lose this 26,952, we need to be cautious because it could actually indicate that we're going to see some further downside playing out here. So for as long as we hold this 27,834, I am looking for this potential of continuing up here. Looking for, additional structure here. It is always possible within these, we could see another 1-2 play out within this, where this forms a five-wave structure. We come back down, maybe retest some of these areas towards this zone of, let's throw this on here, towards a 27,419 to this 27,854 area as an additional wave 2 year. So these things can extend out. Obviously, it needs to prove itself. Like I said, best interpretation I have at the moment, given the current structure, is that if this is an impulse, we're starting to expand out here. So what I'd be looking for is basically a fourth wave down, fifth wave up, something that's comparable in size to this move here, and then for this next one comparable in size to this move here in time duration. It doesn't have to be the same in length, obviously, but basically that's what I want to see. Otherwise, we just have a three-wave move up so far, and that can always reject and actually look to break down. So we're going to discuss a couple of targets. If we do break down, and we are looking at this as potentially a WXY not complete. So this is one of the options we were looking at yesterday, but it's like I said, once we cross this X wave, then this becomes invalid. So it is still possible that this whole move, could still be a W, X, and a Y within here, where instead of looking at it in this manner, this could actually, there's a couple of ways of looking at it. This is the problem with when we have these corrective structures, it's possible that this whole move could be a WXY, where actually this has only completed the W wave. We're getting an X wave to the upside. This is why it's important for us to get five-wave structure here, to get us out of this potential of just having a three-wave move. And then we actually look to break down again. And basically what this could be as a target zone, if we did break down, would be actually coming back into the bottom of this range again, this 26,667 area would be a 1-to-1, which would actually bring us back potentially, into these lows, and that could either make a completed correction as a WXY into this, or alternatively, we could actually see this play out a bit deeper and look to target out some of these key support zones that we've been talking about. So, this area between this 26 and 26,046 to this 24,794. So this is still our key support zone. We can argue that we came down into this 382 here, and we could look to move away. We just need to be aware that it is also possible that this is still just a bigger corrective mess in here, and we did actually complete here, and this could be forming a flat or a WXY like this, where we actually look to push down towards some of these zones here. Like I said, the 1-to-1 would be over here. Let me actually just adjust this one here, given the current move up. So 1-to-1 would be here at this 26,766. 26,672 rather, and this 138,13236 would be down here at this 26,226 area. Apologies, I don't know what's going on with me in numbers today. So this is something we need to be aware of. Even if we take this high, I am going to still be a little bit cautious until we develop good structure here. Like I said, what we want to see ideally within this is we want to see this form a 1, 2, 3, get a fourth and a fifth wave up. And then from that point, we want to see this come back and potentially retest some of these levels as a three-wave move, and then look to push to the upside here. Obviously, like I said, we can get a direct extension up here, and we see this thing just blast off. It is starting to show a good curve here, but these things can also just reverse and turn around. So we need to just be aware of that. So the key zones that I'm looking for potential rejection. this is something we talked about, which I said basically back here. We're looking for the possibility of an A, a B, and a C to the downside, looking for this as a flat correction. We can look at this slightly different as well. That's a problem is when we have moves like this, there's multiple different ways we can count them. What we got to be cautious of is it is still possible we could still see this as a flat correction that just hasn't actually fully played out yet. And what I'm keeping an eye out on here is that potentially this could be an A, this could be a B, and then we could be forming a C wave to the upside here. So we've got some areas here of interest. This is the original box that we were looking at, which is the typical flat rejection based off of this A wave here. So this being a to the downside, and then looking for this potential of a B wave up. This is the 1 to 1. This is that 1 2 3 6 at this 28 9 6 1, and then the 29 2 5 3 is that 1.382 rather. So if we do continue to see, if we do get some additional fourths and fifths here, I'm still going to be cautious in this zone here. The alternative way of actually measuring this is looking at this secondary box here, which could, technically speaking, push up towards that 30K region, which would obviously be an interesting psychological level. However, we have actually, so this basically what this is looking at is in relation to this wave here. And we have actually moved up to that 1 to 1 of this wave. So this is what I'm just being cautious of. Potentially if we do actually get, another a drop here and we form a fourth, we could look to push up potentially towards this 29 1 7 8, and even as high as this zone here of this 29 5 1 1. So I've got this horizontal on here. There's a bit of structure to the left that basically has this zone, this 29 4 4 0 is an area I'm just keeping an eye on for myself. It also does have a bit of confluence up here with this 1.382. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on this zone if we do continue to push up. But obviously, we are coming up into this resistance zone again. And it's going to be interesting to see whether we can actually maintain some of these key levels, or whether this move actually just reverses here and then we look to actually break down. Like I said, potentially we can still look at this move just as a three-way move. It doesn't have a good structure internally yet, to say that we've got a decent five-way move, just because of the fact of how this move starts in the beginning here. This can always start to break down. So we need to be cautious, like we've talked about in the previous videos. Basically, our support zones, if we do break down, are still pretty much the same. We're still looking for this zone of this 26 1,631 to this 24,810 region, as well as lower down if we do break down deeper, potentially towards this 23,580 to this 21,182. I've also said previously, if we do break down into this zone of this into this previous bottom here that we had at 23,896. I'd be looking to see how we react around there. Obviously, this would be a retest of this zone again, as well as this zone of this 25,211. That would also be an interesting area to me, retesting some of this previous structure that we've got here. So that would tie in with a 702 retracement, as well as this 25,178. So keep an eye on that if we do actually look to break down here. This could just be a bigger corrective mess, like I said, at a WX, and then we still come down one more time here. If we are looking to push away here, um, and we are looking to actually see these internal waves playing out, uh, an interesting area for this fourth wave would actually be potentially retesting this trend line here. So that's something I'm keeping an eye out for. Potentially a retest of this area could be interesting as a fourth, and then we get a fifth up. Or alternatively, if we start to fail to hold these zones and we start to actually break back into back into this channel potentially here, we could actually argue that, I don't know what I've done to this channel, but it's not right anymore. Something like this. If we do come back and actually retest this channel, this would also be a good sign here if we find support and look to push up. So that's what we're looking for. We want to see this move continue to hold these key support zones. We've got some horizontal support sitting here towards this zone of this 27 3 938 rather. And then obviously we've got some of these lows here towards this 27,286, which would be quite an interesting zone because, if we do start to do that and we do break down a little bit here, potentially a three-wave move into these zones could then give us that idea of another one and a two here, and then actually we look to push up. So this is what I'm looking out for. We haven't broken these highs yet, and even if we do, like I said, be cautious around those flat rejection areas. That's what I'm doing anyway. This move needs to prove itself. By all means, we could be starting a much bigger leg to the upside here, but it also could just be a corrective structure, three waves up, and then that is the end of it. We set a new low lower than these ones here towards this 26,511. We do still need to be cautious. We're talking about that potential of a of having this as a five-wave move here. We were looking at this as potentially some ones and twos. That is now invalidated, but for the most part, we can't invalidate the fact that we have this five-wave move here. That it would be a bit strange to have a one and a two in this manner, but yeah, we need to just be careful. Nevertheless, it could still indicate that we have some more downside to come here. So we need to just play it at one level at a time. We've got a good reaction here. Now it's going to be important to see whether it holds. Be interesting to see whether we actually stay above this 28,399 area, which has given us quite a lot of resistance previously. Finding support here potentially could mean that this pushes up one more time in an additional fifth wave, like we were talking about. This micro counting, you've got to take it with a little bit of with a pinch of salt, because sometimes these moves are extending out within them. This third wave could have another push up here potentially, and rather be towards this 29,000 region. Or alternatively, we could be looking to form this fourth wave here, and potentially if that stays as a sideways correction, maybe we might see it a bit shallower like this. We'll have to see how it exactly plays out. But currently, off of the current targets, this is the range. Once we start to lose this 27,834, I'd be looking for potential support here at this 27,557 to this 26,952. Failing to hold that, basically, then we switch back to our original support zones that we were looking for lower down here. This 26,046 to this 24,794 at the higher zone. If we lose this 23,896, basically the lower zone of support zones comes back into play. This 26,604 to this 21,204. So the reason we have the second one is basically there's just a way of counting this where basically we count this move as 1, 2, 3 up into here, 4 and 5 into these highs, and then we could actually be looking for a deeper retracement here. So this is what we are just keeping an eye on. There is good potential here. We could see this actually start to develop here and move up, but there just isn't the confirmation yet. We did get a good reaction here. Gonna have to see if it holds. Like I said, there's a key level where we're smashing into here. This could quite easily just turn around and continue to sell off from here. So we're gonna have to see what happens within that. Okay, I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. As well as that, there are affiliate links for both Primex BT and BYBIT down there, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Check them out if you do not have an account. If you use the affiliate link, it does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Everyone, have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.